The red sun of Kepler 442b was setting behind the mountains when Kim Tae-ho heard the sound. It was not the usual noise of mining equipment or the wind through the rocky valleys. This sound was different. It was like metal breaking and something large falling down. Tae-ho put down his repair tools and walked toward the sound. He was tired after working for 12 hours fixing the water pumps in Section 7. His back hurt and his hands were dirty with oil and dust. All he wanted was to go back to his small room and sleep. But the sound worried him. The mining colony had only 200 people living on it. Everyone knew everyone else. If someone was in trouble, they all helped each other. That was how they survived on this hard planet far from Earth. As Tae-ho walked past the big mining machines, he saw smoke coming from behind a pile of metal beams. The smoke was thick and black. He started running. When he got closer, he saw what had happened. A huge mining drill had fallen over. Its heavy metal arm had crashed down on something. Under all the twisted metal and broken pieces, Tae-ho could see movement. At first he thought it was another worker trapped under there. His heart started beating fast. He called out, "Hello! Can you hear me? I am here to help." A sound came from under the metal, but it was not a human voice. It was deeper, like thunder rolling across the sky. The sound had words in it, but not in any language Tae-ho knew. Tae-ho looked more carefully. What he saw made him step back in fear. Under the broken drill was not a human. It was something much bigger. Tae-ho could see dark blue skin that looked like it was covered in small hard pieces, like armor made of scales. A long, thick tail was sticking out from under one of the metal beams. The tail was as big around as Tae-ho's whole body. This was not human. This was one of them. One of the dragon people. Everyone in the galaxy knew about the dragons. They were old and powerful. They had ships that could travel faster than anything humans had ever built. They had weapons that could destroy whole planets. Most humans had never seen a dragon in person. The dragons thought humans were too weak and stupid to be worth their time. What was a dragon doing on their small mining colony? Tae-ho stood there for a long moment. He should call for help. He should tell the colony leaders. He should stay away from this dangerous creature. But then he heard the sound again. This time it was softer. It sounded like pain. The dragon was hurt. Tae-ho looked around. No one else was nearby. The other workers had gone back to their homes for the evening. If he left to get help, it might be too late. The metal beams were heavy. They were slowly pressing down more and more. Tae-ho made his choice. He ran to the equipment shed and got the biggest lifting machine he could find. It was used for moving heavy parts of the mining drill. Tae-ho had used it many times before, but never for something like this. He drove the lifting machine back to where the dragon was trapped. The creature saw him coming and made that thunder sound again. This time Tae-ho thought he could hear fear in it. "I am not going to hurt you," Tae-ho said, even though he was sure the dragon could not understand him. "I want to help." He connected the lifting machine to the biggest piece of metal that was on top of the dragon. The machine made a loud noise as it started to lift. Slowly, very slowly, the heavy beam rose up. As soon as there was enough space, the dragon started to move. It was trying to get free. But Tae-ho could see that one of its arms was badly hurt. Dark blue blood was coming from cuts on its scales. "Wait," Tae-ho said. "Do not move too fast. You are hurt." He kept lifting the metal pieces one by one. It took almost an hour. His lifting machine was not very big, and the pieces were very heavy. Several times he thought the machine might break. But he kept going. Finally, the dragon was free. It was huge. Even lying on the ground hurt, it was bigger than any earth animal Tae-ho had ever seen. Its head was long and had sharp teeth. Its eyes were golden yellow, like fire. When it looked at Tae-ho, he felt like it could see right through him. The dragon tried to stand up, but its hurt arm could not hold its weight. It fell back down with a sound of pain. Tae-ho knew he should be afraid. This creature could kill him easily, even hurt like this. But all he could think about was how much pain it must be feeling. He went back to his equipment shed and got his medical kit. It was meant for humans, but it was all he had. He also brought some water and food bars. When he came back, the dragon was watching him. It did not try to attack. It just watched. Teho sat down near the dragon, but not too close. He opened his medical kit and showed the dragon what was inside. Bandages, medicine for pain, antiseptic to clean cuts. I do not know if this will work for you, Teho said, but it is what I have. The dragon made a soft sound. It was different from the thunder. Sounds from before? The sound was ... slowly, carefully. The dragon moved its hurt arm toward Teho. Teho's hand shook as he started to clean the cuts. The dragon's skin was warm and felt like leather. The cuts were deep, but they were clean. The dragon watched him work, but did not make any sounds of pain. As Teho worked, he started talking. He did not know why. Maybe it was because the silence felt too strange. My name is Teho, he said. I work here fixing things that break. This is a mining colony. We dig for rare metals that Earth needs. He put antiseptic on a bad cut. I have never seen one of your people before. I heard you are very smart and very strong. The dragon's golden eyes never left his face. When Teho finished with the bandages, he offered the dragon some water. The dragon sniffed it first, then drank. A little, then Teho held out a food bar. The dragon looked at the food for a long time. Then it took a small bite. Its face showed surprise, like it had not expected human food to taste good. They sat there together as the night got darker. Teho did not know what else to do. He could not leave the dragon here alone and hurt, but he also could not take it back to the colony. The other people would be too afraid. Finally, the dragon made a sound. This time, the sound had a pattern to it, like it was trying to say a word. Veltar, the dragon said in a deep, careful voice. Teho smiled. Veltar, is that your name? The dragon nodded its big head once. Nice to meet you, Veltar, Teho said. I will help you get better. And so began the most unlikely friendship in the galaxy. 3 days had passed since Teho found Veltar trapped under the mining equipment. Every morning before work and every evening after, Teho visited the dragon in the old storage building where he had helped him hide. Veltar was getting stronger. His cuts were healing fast, much faster than any human would heal. But his arm was still weak, and he could not fly yet. Dragons needed both arms working well to use their wings properly. On the 4th morning, Teho brought his breakfast to share with Veltar. The dragon had learned to like human food, especially the sweet fruit bars that came in their supply. Shipments from Earth. Good morning, Veltar, Teho said as he entered the storage building. Good morning, Teho, Veltar replied. His voice was getting easier for Teho to understand. Dragons were very smart and learned human language quickly. As they ate together, Veltar asked, Why do you help me? Your people and my people are not friends. Teho thought about this question. He had been thinking about it for days. I do not know, he said finally. You were hurt. I could help. So I did. Veltar's golden eyes studied Teho's face. Is all? No other reason? That is all, Teho said. This seemed to surprise Veltar very much. Dragons always had complicated reasons for everything they did. They made plans within plans. The idea that someone would help just because they could help was new to him. That afternoon, Dr. Park Ji-woo came looking for Teho. She was the colony's doctor and one of Teho's few close friends. She found him working on a water pump in Section 3. Teho, I need to talk to you, she said. Her voice sounded worried. They walked to a quiet place where no one could hear. Ji-woo looked around to make sure they were alone. Some of the workers are talking, she said. They say you have been acting strange. Going to the old storage building every day, taking extra food from the kitchen. What is going on? Teho felt his stomach get tight with worry. He had known this day would come. He could not keep Veltar secret forever. If I tell you something, will you promise not to tell anyone else until I say it is okay? He asked. Wu nodded. I promise. So Teho told her everything, about finding Veltar trapped, about helping him heal, about the strange friendship that was growing between them. When he finished talking, Wu was quiet for a long time. You have been hiding a dragon? she said finally. Yes, a real dragon, one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Yes, and you have been feeding him fruit bars. Despite everything, Taeho smiled. He really likes them. Who shook her head. Taeho, this is dangerous. If the colony leaders find out, they will panic. If the Galactic Council finds out, we could all be in trouble. I know, Taeho said, but I could not let him die. That evening, Jiwoo came with Taeho to meet Veltar. She brought her medical equipment with her when they entered the storage building. Veltar was sitting up. His golden eyes immediately focused on the new person. Veltar, this is my friend Jiwoo, Taeho said. She is a doctor. She helps people when they are hurt or sick. Veltar looked at Jiwoo carefully. Are you going to tell the others about me? I do not know yet, Jiwoo said honestly. Let me look at your injuries first. She examined Veltar's arm with her medical scanner. What she saw on the screen made her eyes go wide. This is impossible, she said. What is wrong? Taeho asked. Nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect. Look at this. She showed them the scanner screen. His bones are stronger than any metal we use in our ships. His blood carries oxygen much better than human blood. His brain activity is off the charts. Veltar watched her study the readings. Your people are good at understanding how bodies work, he said. Not as good as yours, I think, Jiwoo replied. Perhaps, but you use your knowledge differently. You use it to help others, even those who are not your own kind? The next day, Jiwoo brought someone else to meet Veltar. Her name was Lee Sora, and she was the colony's xenobiologist. She studied alien life forms. So Ra was very excited to meet Veltar, but she tried to hide it. I have read about your people, she said. But all our information comes from long-distance observations? We have never been able to study dragon culture up close. What would you like to know? Veltar asked, and so began the strangest classroom in the galaxy. Every evening after work, Taeho, Jiwoo, and Sora would sit with Veltar in the storage building. He would tell them about dragon society, about their technology, about their long history among the stars. The dragons had been traveling between worlds for thousands of years before humans ever left Earth. They had built cities on 100 different planets. They had knowledge of science that humans were only beginning to understand. How do your ships travel so fast? Sora asked one evening. Tar thought about this. It is hard to explain in human words. We do not move through space. We convince space to move around us. That sounds like folding space-time, Sora said excitedly. Something like that, yes. In return, the humans told Veltar about Earth, about the blue oceans and green forests, about human art and music and stories, about how humans had worked together to build ships and reach for the stars even though they were young and weak. Compared to other species, Tar was especially interested in human books. Taeho brought him a datapad with hundreds of stories on it. Veltar read very fast, finishing several books each day. Your people write about hope, Veltar said one evening. Even when things are very bad in your stories, your characters believe things can get better. Do dragons not have hope? Taeho asked. We have certainty. We plan, we calculate, we predict. But hope. Veltar paused. Hope is believing in something you cannot prove. Dragons gave up hope long ago. That sounds lonely, Jiwoo said. Tar looked at her with surprise. Yes, he said quietly. It is very lonely. As the days passed, something was changing in Veltar. The way he looked at the humans was different. The way he spoke was different. He was learning that humans were not the weak, foolish creatures his people believed them to be, and the humans were learning too. They were seeing that dragons, for all their power and knowledge, had lost something important. Something that humans still had, but their secret meetings could not last forever. Change was coming to the mining colony, and it would test everything they had learned about each other. 2 weeks had passed since Dr. Park Ji-woo and Lee So-ra started visiting Veltar. The dragon was almost completely healed now. His arm was strong again, and he could move his wings without pain. Soon he would be able to fly away from the mining. colony, but none of them talked about that day. They had all grown too close to want to say goodbye on a quiet morning. Everything changed. Te-Ho was working in the communication center when the emergency alarms started ringing. The loud sound echoed through all the buildings of the colony. Red lights flashed on every wall. Colony leader Kim Dong-Su's voice came over the speakers. All colonists report to the main shelter immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Te-Ho ran toward the main shelter with everyone else. Inside, people were scared and talking loudly. Children were crying. The older colonists looked worried. Dr. Yoon Mi-kyung, the colony's physicist, was standing at the front with Leader Kim. She looked very pale. Everyone, please be quiet, Leader Kim said. Dr. Yoon has important information. Dr. Yoon stepped forward. Her hands were shaking as she spoke. Our long-range sensors have detected a massive solar flare coming from the system's star. It is much bigger than anything we have seen before. The crowd became very quiet. The flare will reach our planet in 18 hours, Dr. Yoon continued. The radiation will be strong enough to kill every living thing on the surface. Our underground shelters cannot protect us from something this powerful. Someone in the crowd shouted, "What about the evacuation ships?" "We only have 2 small transport ships," Leader Kim answered. "They can carry 50 people each. We have 200 people in this colony." The shelter became very noisy again as people started to panic. Te-Ho felt sick to his stomach. There was no way to save everyone. "We are trying to contact the Galactic Council for help," Leader Kim said. "But even if they send rescue ships right now, they cannot get here in time." Te-Ho pushed through the crowd and ran outside. He had to tell Veltar what was happening. Maybe the dragon would know what to do. He found Veltar in the storage building, reading one of the books on the datapad. When Veltar saw Te-Ho's face, he knew something was very wrong. "What has happened?" Veltar asked. Te-Ho told him about the solar flare, about how there was no way to save everyone, about how they only had 18 hours left. Tar was quiet for a long time. His golden eyes looked far away, like he was thinking about something very complicated. "There might be a way," he said finally. "What way?" "Dragons can manipulate energy fields. With enough power, I could create a barrier around your colony. The barrier would redirect the solar radiation away from the planet's surface." Te-Ho felt hope for the first time since hearing the news. "That is wonderful. How do we do it?" Veltar looked down at his hands. The power required would be enormous, more than any dragon has ever attempted before. And it would use all of my life energy. I would not survive. The hope in Te-Ho's chest turned to ice. "No, there has to be another way. I have been thinking about this for the past few minutes. There is no other way." Te-Ho started pacing back and forth. "We can call your people. They can send help. Dragon ships are too far away. Even if they started coming now, they would not arrive in time. Then we use our technology. Dr. Yoon is very smart. We can build something." Veltar shook his head sadly. "Your technology is not advanced enough. I am sorry, Te-Ho." Te-Ho sat down hard on a metal crate. He put his head in his hands. After everything they had been through together, he was going to lose his friend. And Veltar was going to die saving people who had never even met him. "Why?" Te-Ho asked. "Why would you do this for us?" Veltar moved closer to Te-Ho. "Before I met you, I thought humans were weak and foolish. I thought you had nothing to teach my people. But you showed me something I had never seen before." "What?" "You saved me not because you wanted something from me, not because it would help you. You saved me because it was the right thing to do. That kind of goodness is rarer than any treasure in the galaxy." Tears were running down Te-Ho's face. "I do not want you to die. And I do not want your people to die, especially you, my friend." They sat together in silence. Outside, they could hear people running around, trying to prepare for the disaster that was coming. Then Te-Ho had an idea. "What if we shared the burden?" "What do you mean?" "You said it would take all of your life energy. What if you did not have to use all of your own energy? What if you could use some of mine too?" Veltar's eyes went wide. That is impossible. Humans and dragons cannot share life energy. Have humans and dragons ever tried? Veltar was quiet. For a moment. No, never. Then how do we know it is impossible? Even if it could work, it would be very dangerous for you. The energy transfer could kill you. It might kill me, Teho said. But doing nothing will definitely kill all of us. Dr. Yoon found them an hour later. Teho had asked her to come to the storage building. He said he had found someone who might be able to help Dot. When Dr. Yoon saw Veltar, she almost fainted. But Teho quickly explained everything. About how he had saved the dragon, about their friendship, about Veltar's plan to save the colony. Dr. Yoon listened to everything without saying a word. When Teho finished, she looked at Veltar. Is this really possible? She asked. I believe so, Veltar replied. But I have never attempted anything like this before. What do you need from me? I need you to monitor our life signs during the energy sharing. If something goes wrong, you might be able to help. Dr. Yoon nodded. I will do whatever I can. They spent the next few hours preparing. Veltar explained how the energy sharing would work. It was an ancient dragon ritual that had never been tried between species. As the time got closer, more people found out what was happening. Ji Woo and So Ra came to help. Even Leader Kim came to see if the plan could really work. With 2 hours left before the solar flare arrived, Veltar and Teho were ready. They sat facing each other in the center of the storage building. Veltar placed his large hands on Teho's shoulders. Teho put his hands on Veltar's arms. Are you sure about this? Veltar asked. I am sure, Teho said. Then let us begin. The energy sharing started slowly. Teho felt a warm feeling moving through his body. It was like sunlight flowing through his blood. But as the connection got stronger, the feeling became more intense. Soon it felt like fire was running through every part of him. His whole body hurt, but he did not let go of Vel-Tar. Side. The sky began to change color as the solar flare got closer. Vel-Tar's scales started to glow with bright blue light. The light got brighter and brighter until everyone had to look away. Energy was flowing out of him and spreading around the entire colony like a giant bubble. The pain was terrible for both of them. Teho could feel his strength leaving his body. But he held on. When the solar flare hit the planet, it struck Veltar's energy barrier and split apart like water hitting a rock. The deadly radiation flowed around the colony without touching it. They had done it. Everyone was safe, but the cost was higher than either of them had expected. 3 months had passed since the day Veltar and Teho saved the mining colony from the solar flare. The energy barrier had worked perfectly. Every person in the colony had survived without even getting sick from radiation, but the cost of creating that barrier had been terrible. Teho lay in the medical center, getting weaker every day. The energy sharing with Veltar had damaged something deep inside his body. Dr. Park Ji-woo had tried everything she knew, but human medicine could not fix what had been broken. Veltar visited Teho every day. The dragon had survived the energy sharing, but he was changed too. His scales, which had once been dark blue, now had lines of gold running through them. The gold lines glowed softly, like they were filled with warm light. The gold lines are from you, Veltar had explained to Teho. Your life energy mixed with mine during the sharing. Now I carry a part of you with me always. On a quiet morning in the medical center, Teho called Veltar to his bedside. I do not think I have much time left, Teho said. His voice was very weak. Veltar's golden eyes were sad. I know. I want you to know that I do not regret what we did. We saved everyone. That was worth it. You are the bravest person I have ever known, Veltar said. Not brave, just someone who cared about his friends. That afternoon, with Dr. Ji-woo and Lee So-ra holding his hands, Kim Tae-ho died peacefully in his sleep. The funeral was held 3 days later. Everyone in the colony came to say goodbye to the man who had saved them all. But what surprised everyone was who else came. First, a ship from the Galactic Council arrived. Admiral Kang Dong-min stepped out along with several other high-ranking officials. They had come to honor the human who had worked with a dragon to perform an impossible rescue. Then something happened that no one had ever seen before. A massive dragon ship appeared in the sky above the colony. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time, made of metal that seemed to shine with its own light. The ship was bigger than anything the humans had ever seen. From the ship came 5 dragons. They flew down and landed near the place where the funeral was being held. The humans were scared, but the dragons made no threatening moves. The largest dragon was very old. His scales were silver with age, and his eyes were like ancient stars. This was Elder Zormathus, one of the most important dragons in the galaxy. Elder Zormathus walked slowly to where Veltar was standing. "Young Veltar," the elder said, "we heard what happened here. We came to see if it was true." "It is true, Elder," Veltar replied. "This human saved my life. Then he helped me save all the lives in this colony. He died because of the energy sharing we did together." The elder looked at the simple coffin where Teho's body lay. "A human died to save other humans. That is not unusual. But you say he first saved your life, knowing you were a dragon?" "Yes, Elder. And he shared his life energy with you, knowing it might kill him." "Yes, Elder." Elder Zormathus was quiet for a long time. The other dragons, the humans, and the Galactic Council officials all waited to see what he would say. Finally, the elder spoke. "In all my long life, I have never heard of such a thing." Han the Jinn, Teho's sister, had come from Earth for the funeral. She was a diplomat who worked with alien species. She stepped forward. "Elder Zormathus," she said, "my brother was just a simple man who fixed machines. But he believed that all life was valuable. He would have helped anyone who was in trouble." "Even a dragon?" the elder asked. "Especially a dragon, because dragons are so rare and special." The elder's ancient eyes studied the Jinn's face. "Your brother has taught us something today. We dragons have lived for thousands of years, but we had forgotten what your brother knew by instinct." "What is that?" Admiral Kang asked. "That the strongest force in the universe is not power or knowledge or technology. It is the willingness to sacrifice for others, even for those who are different from you." Elder Zormathus turned to face all the people gathered for the funeral. "Dragons have always believed that we were the superior species in the galaxy. We thought other races, especially humans, were weak and unimportant. But today I see that we were wrong." The crowd was completely silent. This human, Kim Tae-ho, showed a kind of strength that we dragons lost long ago. He showed courage without pride, love without conditions, sacrifice without expectation of reward. The elder looked at Veltar. "And you, young one, learned from him. You became something new. Something that is both dragon and human in spirit." Veltar nodded. "He changed me, Elder. I can never go back to thinking the way I did before." "Nor would we want you to." Then Elder Zormathus did something that shocked everyone. He bowed his great head toward Teho's coffin. "Kim Tae-ho," he said in a voice that everyone could hear, "you were small in body, but great in spirit. You saved not just the lives in this colony. You saved something in all of us. You reminded us what it means to be truly alive." One by one, the other dragons bowed their heads too. Then Admiral Kang bowed. Then all the Galactic Council officials. Soon every person at the funeral was bowing to honor the memory of a simple maintenance worker who had changed the galaxy forever. When the ceremony was over, Elder Zormathus spoke privately with Veltar. "What will you do now, young one?" the elder asked. "I do not know," Veltar said. "I cannot go back to the way things were before. But I do not know what comes next. Perhaps," the elder said thoughtfully, "it is time for something completely new." That night, as the dragon ship prepared to leave, Veltar made a decision that would surprise everyone again. He asked to speak to the whole colony one more time. Standing in the main square, with humans and dragons and Galactic Council members. All listening, Veltar announced his choice. "Kim Tae-ho saved my life," he said. "Then he shared his life energy with me to save all of you. Now his energy flows through me always. I carry his spirit inside me." He paused, looking at all the faces around him. "Tomorrow I will begin a ritual that has never been attempted before. I will permanently bind my consciousness with the memory and spirit of Taeho. We will become one being, sharing both dragon wisdom and human compassion. Elder Zormathus' eyes went wide. Veltar, that ritual has never been performed between different species. We do not know if it is possible. Then I will find out, Veltar said. Because the greatest gift I can give to honor my friend is to make sure his spirit lives on. Not just in memory, but in action, in everything I do for the rest of my life. Han the Jinn had tears in her eyes. My brother would be honored. Your brother will be with me always, Veltar promised. And so, as the stars came out over the mining colony, plans began for a ceremony that would change both species forever. The ritual was called Velshari in the dragon language. It meant joining of souls. No dragon had ever attempted it with another species before. Most dragons believed it was impossible, but Veltar was determined to try. Elder Zormathus and the other dragons had stayed on the mining colony to witness the ceremony. They brought ancient books and scrolls that described how the ritual was supposed to work. The Velshari has only been performed a few times in all of dragon history, Elder Zormathus explained to the gathered crowd. It is meant to preserve the wisdom and memory of great dragon leaders after they die. Dr. Yoonmi Kyung studied the dragon texts with fascination. It is like creating a backup copy of someone's consciousness and storing it in another mind. More than that, said Elder Zormathus, the two consciousnesses become one. They share thoughts, memories, and feelings. The dragon who performs Velshari becomes a new being, carrying the best parts of both souls. Captain Oh Seung-ho, who was now leading the colony after the emergency, looked worried. What are the dangers? Many, the elder admitted. The ritual requires perfect mental balance. If something goes wrong, Veltar could lose his own identity completely. He could go insane. He could even die? But if it works? Asked Han the Jinn. If it works, Veltar will carry your brother's essence with him forever. Taeho's compassion, his love for others, his way of seeing the good in everyone, all of that will become part of Veltar permanently. Commander Nam Hyo-young had arrived from Earth Defense Force to observe the ceremony. She was amazed by what she was seeing. In all our studies of alien cultures, we have never seen anything like this, she said. A member of one species trying to preserve the soul of another species inside themselves. Because it has never been attempted before, Elder Zormathus said. The preparation for the ritual took 7 days. Veltar had to meditate and prepare his mind. He fasted, eating very little food. He spent hours each day thinking about Taeho, remembering every conversation they had shared. Every moment of their friendship. Dr. Park Ji-woo and Lee Sora helped. By gathering recordings of Taeho's voice, pictures of him, and stories that other colonists told about him. All of this would help Veltar focus on his friend's memory during the ritual, on the day of the ceremony. Everyone gathered in the main square of the colony. Dragons, humans, and Galactic Council representatives all came to witness something. That had never happened before. Veltar sat in the center of the square. Around him, the other dragons had drawn complex patterns on the ground using a special silver dust that glowed with soft light. Elder Zormathus stood nearby, ready to guide Veltar through the ancient words of the ritual. Are you certain about this, young one? The elder asked one final time. I have never been more certain of anything, Veltar replied. Then let us begin. The ritual started with Veltar speaking Taeho's full name in both Korean and the dragon language. The silver patterns on the ground began to glow brighter. Next, Veltar recited every memory he had of his human friend. He spoke about the day Taeho found him trapped under the mining equipment, about the gentle way Taeho had cleaned his wounds, about the food they shared and the books they read together. As Veltar spoke, the golden lines in his scales began to pulse with warm light. The light grew brighter with each memory he shared. I remember his kindness, Veltar said, his voice getting stronger. He helped me not because he wanted something from me, but because helping others was who he was. I remember his courage. When the solar flare came, he did not hesitate to risk his own life to save his people. I remember his laughter when I told him dragon jokes. I remember how he cried when I told him about the loneliness of my people. The light from Veltar's scales was now so bright that people had to shield their eyes. Most of all, Veltar continued, I remember his love. Love for his friends, love for strangers, love even for me, a dragon who was supposed to be his enemy. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. The air around Veltar began to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot ground. In the shimmering air, people could see shapes forming dot at first. The shapes were unclear. But slowly, they became more solid. It was Te-Ho, not the real Te-Ho. This was something made of light and energy. But it looked exactly like him. The figure smiled at Veltar and reached out to touch the dragon's face. Everyone watching gasped in amazement. Impossible, whispered Elder Zeo. Our single quotes, Mathis. The light figure of Te-Ho spoke, but his voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. My friend, the figure said, you do not need to carry my burden alone. Te-Ho? Veltar's voice was full of wonder. I am here. I have always been here, in the golden lines in your scales, in the energy we shared, in the love between us that is stronger than death. The figure placed both hands on Veltar's head. Let me help you with this ritual. Let us become one, not because you are taking me into yourself, but because we are choosing to be together. What happened next was unlike anything in the ancient dragon texts. Instead of Veltar pulling Te-Ho's essence into himself, both beings seemed to flow together like two streams joining into one river. The light grew so bright that everyone had to close their eyes. When the light faded, Veltar was still there, but he was changed. His scales were no longer dark blue with golden lines. Now they were a beautiful mix of blue and gold, swirling together in patterns that moved and shifted like living art. His eyes, which had been golden yellow, now had flecks of warm brown, the color of Te-Ho's eyes, but the biggest change was in his expression. The proud, distant look that dragons usually wore was gone. Instead, his face showed the gentle kindness that everyone remembered in Te-Ho. When Veltar opened his mouth to speak, his voice was different too. It was still his dragon voice, deep and powerful. But now it had something else in it, a warmth and softness that was purely human. I am Veltar, he said, but I am also Te-Ho. We are one being now, sharing one heart, one mind, one purpose. He looked around at all the people watching, dragons, humans, and others. Te-Ho's dream was for all species to understand each other, to work together instead of fighting, to choose love over fear. Veltar stood up, and everyone could see that he moved differently now. Dragons usually moved with predatory grace like hunting cats, but Veltar moved with the gentle confidence of someone who had nothing to prove and no one to fear. I dedicate my life to making that dream come true, he announced. I will be a bridge between worlds, a translator between species, a living example of what we can become when we choose to see the good in each other. Elder Zormathis approached Veltar slowly. Young one, you have done something that changes everything. You are no longer just a dragon. You are no longer just touched by human kindness. You have become something entirely new. What am I? Veltar asked. The elder thought for a long moment. You are hope, he said finally. You are proof that different species can not only understand each other, but become part of each other. You are the future. Han the Jinn came forward with tears of joy in her eyes. My brother lives. He lives, Veltar agreed. And he will never be forgotten. Every act of kindness I perform, every hand I extend in friendship, every bridge I build, between worlds, all of it will be done with his heart beating inside mine. As the ceremony ended and people began to leave, Elder Zormathis made an announcement that would echo across the galaxy. Today marks the beginning of a new age, he declared, the age when species can truly become one. When the barriers between us can be broken down not by war or conquest, but by love. He looked directly at Veltar. And you, young one, will lead us into that age? Veltar nodded, feeling both his dragon wisdom and Te-Ho's human compassion flowing through him like one mighty river. We will lead, he corrected gently. Te-Ho and I together. as we always should have been. 6 months had passed since the Velshari ritual that joined Veltar and Teho into one being. The news of what had happened on the mining colony had spread across the entire galaxy. Some species were amazed by the unprecedented joining of dragon and human consciousness. Others were frightened by what it might mean for the future. But everyone agreed that something fundamental had changed in the universe. Veltar now traveled between worlds on a ship that was part dragon technology and part human engineering. It was the first vessel ever built by two species working together as equals on this particular day. He was arriving at the Galactic Council headquarters on the planet Nexus Prime. He had been invited to speak about a new proposal that could change how all species interacted with each other. Ambassador Choi In-ho, who represented Earth in the Galactic Council, met Veltar at the landing platform. "My friend," Choi said warmly, "it is good to see you again." "Hello, In-ho," Veltar replied. His voice still carried both the deep strength of his dragon nature and the gentle kindness he had gained from Teho. "Are the council members ready to hear our proposal?" "Some are excited, others are worried. A few are completely against it," Veltar nodded. "That was expected. Change is always frightening, especially when it challenges everything people believe about how the universe works." They walked together through the great halls of the council building. Other beings stopped to stare at Veltar as he passed. His scales still swirled with patterns of blue and gold that moved like living art. His eyes held both dragon fire and human warmth. In the main council chamber, representatives from 50 different species had gathered. Dragons sat near the ceiling in special platforms designed for flying creatures. Humans occupied the middle levels. Other species filled the remaining seats according to their own needs and preferences. Elder Zormathis was there, along with several other important dragons. They had become strong supporters of Veltar's work after seeing how the ritual had changed him. Dr. Bei Sunmi, a quantum consciousness researcher from Earth, was also present. She had spent months studying what had happened during the Velshari ritual and was amazed by what she had discovered. "Honored representatives," Veltar began, his voice carrying easily through the large chamber. 6 months ago, I was just another dragon who believed his species was superior to all others. I thought humans were weak and foolish. I thought other species were beneath our notice." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Then a human named Kim Tae-ho saved my life. Not because he wanted something from me. Not because it would benefit his people. He saved me simply because I was hurt and he could help." Murmurs went through the crowd. Many of the representatives had heard this story before, but hearing it directly from Veltar made it more powerful. "That act of simple kindness taught me something my people had forgotten. True strength is not the power to destroy or control. True strength is the willingness to help others even when they are different from you." A representative from the Crystalline Federation raised a glowing appendage. "Speaker Veltar, we understand that you had a meaningful friendship with this human. But how does that lead to changing the fundamental structure of galactic civilization?" Veltar smiled, an expression that was both dragon and human at the same time. "Because friendship between species should not be unusual, it should be normal. Right now, we have a galaxy where different species barely tolerate each other. We trade when we must, we fight when we disagree, but we never truly connect." He gestured to the assembled representatives. "Look around this chamber. How many of you have a real friend from another species? How many of you know the hopes and dreams and fears of beings who are different from you?" The chamber became very quiet. "What I propose today is the creation of something new. Something we will call the Teho Protocol." Ambassador Choi stood up. "The Teho Protocol is based on a simple idea. Instead of organizing galactic society around power and hierarchy, we organize it around mutual understanding and respect." Dr. Bei activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed a complex diagram of interconnected networks. "Our research has shown that consciousness, the thing that makes each of us who we are, has common elements across all species," she explained. "We all feel joy, sadness, fear, and love. We all want to be safe, to be understood, to have purpose. The differences between our species are real, Valtar continued. Dragons are physically powerful and long-lived. Humans are emotionally intuitive and adaptable. The crystalline federation processes information faster than anyone else. The plant-based Verdani understand ecosystem balance better than any other species. He looked around the chamber, making eye contact with representatives from each species he mentioned. But imagine if we combined our strengths instead of competing with them. Imagine if dragon wisdom worked together with human compassion, if crystalline speed was guided by Verdani patience. If we saw our differences as gifts to share rather than walls to hide behind, an old dragon representative spoke up. This sounds idealistic, young Valtar. How do you propose to make it work in practice? We start small, Valtar replied. We create mixed crews for exploration ships, dragons and humans and others working side by side. We establish cultural exchange programs where young beings from different species live and learn together. We build research stations where scientists from all species collaborate on solving problems that affect everyone. Elder Zormathis added his support. I have seen what happens when species truly cooperate. The energy barrier that saved the mining colony could never have been created by dragons alone or humans alone. It required both working together. A representative from the aquatic collective raised a concern. What about species that are naturally incompatible? My people live underwater. We cannot easily share space with air-breathing species? Dr. Bay smiled. That is exactly the kind of challenge the Tejo Protocol is designed to address. Instead of seeing your aquatic nature as a limitation, we see it as an opportunity. Your people understand fluid dynamics and pressure systems better than anyone. You could teach other species things they never knew were possible. And in return, Valtar added, land-based species could share their knowledge with you. Together, we could design ships that work equally well in space, in atmosphere, and underwater. We could create habitats where different species can live and work together comfortably. The debate continued for hours. Some representatives were excited by the possibilities. Others worried about losing their species' independence. A few were openly hostile to the idea, but slowly, as Valtar and his supporters answered questions and addressed concerns, more and more representatives began to see the potential. Finally, the vote was called, the Tejo Protocol was approved. By a margin of 37 to 13. As the representatives filed out of the chamber, many stopped to speak with Valtar personally. Some wanted to volunteer their species for the first experimental programs. Others offered resources and support. Ambassador Choi shook Valtar's hand. Tejo would be proud of what you have accomplished today. We accomplished it together. Valtar replied, I could never have done this alone. The dragon part of me provided the knowledge and authority to be heard. The human part of me provided the vision and compassion to make others want to listen. Elder Zormathis approached them. This is only the beginning, young one. Creating the protocol was the easy part. Making it work will be much harder, I know, Valtar said. But I also know it is possible, because I am living proof that different forms of consciousness can join together and create something better than either could achieve alone. Dr. Bay was already making plans. We will need to establish training centers, develop new technologies for species integration, create educational programs, and we will need to be patient, Valtar added. Real change takes time. Some species will embrace the protocol quickly. Others will need years to accept it. A few may never join us. What matters, he continued, is that we keep trying, that we keep reaching out to others with open hands and open hearts, that we remember what Tejo taught us.